Hello then, viewers. Welcome back to another episode of Citie Skylines with me, Ben. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to have your ears with my voice today. Hopefully, we're going to have a fun time this afternoon or this evening or whenever you're listening to this. I hope you're listening to go to sleep. In fact, yeah, I don't know. When do people listen to this? It's quite relaxing, isn't it? It's quite soothing. Let's get into today's build then. We mentioned last time we fixed the water, we dealt with some of the highway issues, and we started off our grid system over on this side, which we're really yet to complete. There's a few little odds and ends that we can continue to do with this to make it function in a slightly nicer way. I'm not going to fill this whole thing in though. I think to have some like bigger skyscrapers over on this side. There's a project going on in New York right now which is actually doing something similar. I'd quite like to replicate it over on this side. So yeah, stay tuned. You might see something happen. It might be happening a little further down, but yeah, we'll see as we develop into this save. Save. It's not a Football Manager, Ben. It's not. Come on. It's Citie Skylines. Right. You can see here we're very, very close now. 300 or so people away, nearly 400 away from having a busy town. Where we unlock a few more little bits and pieces. Now, this level actually from busy town, or I should say from boomtown to busy town, you don't unlock too many things that make a major impact to your city. You do, though, unlock a few more policies, and that's what we're going to start with today. We've not talked about policies at all yet. And I think we should maybe take a look at some of the things that we can work on when it comes to policy. So recycling, of course, quite an important aspect of life these days, isn't it? And recycling is a big part of the environmental sustainability. It also helps keep the neighbourhoods looking tidy. With a small investment into recycling technologies, waste containers, you can make your city neat. Slightly reduced garbage accumulation, slightly reduced tax income. But I do think it's worth it. I do think having recycling is a really strong thing to do in the city. It just seems, I just think it's nice as well. The idea of it is nice, isn't it? We should encourage it. So we will do. There's loads of other things here. Recycling plastics, park maintenance boost, where in areas where they'll do double shifts rather than just doing regular maintenance. When you have the parks, there's an option here to have a park maintenance building. And of course, with a place like Central Park, we will of course have one of these at some point to look after the Central Park area. I will be putting Central Park Zoo in at some point. It's quite small, and of course, because this Central Park area is, again, it's not to scale, but it's to the scale of what we're working with. The zoo will have to be equally quite small, but again, when we come up further up towards Central Park, we'll work on that. I've also realised as well, there's another option we've not used yet or utilised yet. I was going to say the road maintenance depot. We don't have that yet either, so we'll have to wait and see whether we implement that as we get it. I think we probably will do. Some of these areas around here, again, I'm very hesitant to build on them because I want to build them up, but if we don't build residential areas in them, I worry that we'll never be able to reach population limits to allow us to build bigger and better cities. So what I'm going to do is mass build some housing along here, which might seem quite drastic, but sometimes you've got to do drastic things. You've got to take drastic measures, viewers, to make things happen. But I really want to put a park maintenance building in, just because I think look at all the green it creates. It's very cumbersome. Cumbersome? Happy. Cumbersome is the wrong word entirely. Cumbersome. Now I'm realising that I don't necessarily know the meaning of the word cumbersome. Let's move on and figure out what we're going to do. So you can see these houses look beautifully building up very, very quickly. The demand for houses was quite strong. When you have an influx of houses, you're going to have an influx of people wanting services and buildings and needs. So let's make sure we match those. We're okay. Oh, we could do with maybe another doctor's around here somewhere. So we'll just pop that in there. And they seem quite happy. That's a medical clinic, is it? Yes, it is. So they're happy with that. And I'm really looking forward, because I think so far we're building quite a nice city to the mould of New York, but it doesn't look like New York, like we know that it maybe can do. And because we're not there yet, I feel like it's lacking something currently. I'm going to put a plaza in here as well, because I think the people in this area would appreciate it. Are they going to appreciate it? They've sort of appreciated it. Can we put a park down here as well, maybe? Doesn't quite fit in for that one, but we can pop another one in there. Can we double it up around here? We kind of can. We can make it bigger by putting two in. And they do sort of mould and connect, you see. So they actually look quite nice together. We could even have another sort of gravelly road, a gravel path here. And build that straight along. You see what I mean? So it all links up again. And then you can just add in some additional trees afterwards to just make it look relatively interesting. If you do like a bit of a mix of trees. And then just sort of spread them in a semi-natural way. You can see it looks as if, like now, it could maybe be all part of the same park. Although we obviously know that it's not. We know that it's two parks and some trees along one side. But yeah, that's okay. That's quite neat and tidy. Again, whether that's an actual park in New York, I don't think it is. Busy town, finally, viewers. We've waited. I feel like we've waited ages for this. Some more city planning policies have become available to us. Level 4 unique buildings, something we've not really talked about too much. Although when it comes to unique buildings, the World Trade Center is one of those. To give you an idea. Actually, no, the unique buildings. I guess it's not. It's more of an. It's more. Well, I say it's a unique building. It falls under the unique buildings section. So I guess it is a unique building in that sense because you can only have one of them. That's the thing that makes these unique buildings unique, is that you can only use them once. You can't put them everywhere. You've got different statues and monuments and things like that. So we can always apply some of those at certain places. But right now, I don't think we're going to. We need to try and build up. This is the big issue. We need to try and build up towards that 7,000 mark. And I'm debating now whether, because we want to leave out this area, we start working on the Upper East Side and building houses in that particular area, so it gives us opportunity to build lots of houses at once and really build up that population without messing around with the area, which is considerably like high-rise all over the shop, and make it look really, really cool. So I think that's something I'm going to do now. This road is an interesting road because it goes both ways. There aren't too many of those in New York, but I think for the good of the city, we're going to need something like that. Just to break things up a little bit. You can have almost too many one-way roads, and I'm very, very conscious of that. So I've got to be careful. I also haven't dealt with the Columbus Circle over on that side. We talked about that last episode. I think I did actually show you the picture eventually, a couple of episodes ago. Sorry. So let's think about that. Is that 90 degrees? That looks like it's off to me, doesn't it? It looks like it's off to you as well. It says 90, but it doesn't. It's not. I know it. In my brain, I know it's not right, so I'm not going to do it, and I'll just replace them all like that by right-clicking, and yeah, it's going to be fine. Do I want a road that goes across here? I guess I kind of do. Will that go straight down? Oh, that's a piece of luck, I will say that. And now, Upper East Side, we can build across and do, and this is going to be interesting, because we can give ourselves now the option of doing some real huge, I guess I'd call it an investment into population, because growing your population quickly can be quite challenging, but especially in America, this is a really easy way to do it, because of your grid system you can create a lot of houses at a very quick rate and really increase your population with a good bit of speed as we continue to do this. There's a reason I skipped this last time, viewers. I realise now there's a reason for it. So there you are. Look. There we go. And what I mean then is you get your little population, your green population square, and you build it out. I'm going to start here. Again, I really wish we had some high-rise apartment blocks, because I think they look really, really good. We just don't have them at the moment, which is a real shame. Again, we're going to build it out that way. So that's going to be a massive area of housing that I'm hoping. The Upper East Side is traditionally quite a wealthy area of New York. So it might be the sort of thing where we have a mix of apartments and actually some of these low-density housing. So it makes sense to put it up there, and then maybe some of these cubed blocks can be more apartment buildings. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go with it. I guess some of these should probably have little corner shops as well. Again, if you're building big areas of population, of course you need to make sure they've got the facilities as well. Of course, these people are going to need jobs though, so the added need of having more industry is going to become really apparent very, very soon. So again, it's something you've got to keep an eye on. This is I think, to me at least, playing this game, this is more of a guide down the bottom here. I don't think you have to follow it constantly all the time. Of course, there'll be points in which you need one particular thing all the time. But I'm just going to be interested to see how this builds out eventually. And industry-wise, we are going to have to build some more. The same goes with what we're saying on the Upper East Side can apply to the Upper West Side as well. We can do things over there too. And again, hopefully link it all up. We're getting some. Again, I think this looks really nice. Actually, I think the one-way system there is a real treat. And whether we make it one way around Central Park and we make it almost one big circle, is something we're going to have to consider. There is a road that runs through Central Park that curves a little round. It's about sort of thing you want to get right. It's not too far away actually, where I proposed to Ellie around this area. I don't think I've ever actually revealed whereabouts I did it. But I'm happy to say now, it was a place called Cedar Hill. This is the private club. Yeah, Cedar Hill. in New York. If you ever Google it, you can find out. It's like it's not a particularly big hill, and it wasn't planned. It was just where we ended up, and it just felt right and lovely. And yeah, there you are. That's the story, viewers. Not much more to add, really. I'm going to put a couple more of these in. Healthy, good energy, and we're going to have to connect up some electricity over on this side. And the reason I've put it over that side is because I'm going to connect it over to that side. So this is going to come out to here, and then there, and then we're going to work it down the coast. I will get rid of this eventually. Again, once we build up the city area, that won't matter so much, because hopefully, if I actually take a look at it, Ben, all these buildings will link up together. But for now, as we're sort of creating a new section, excuse me, viewers, new section, sexton. I mean, hopefully you've not got children watching these. It really should be parental advised. Yeah, a new section up here. We need to, of course, connect it remotely from those wind turbines. Okay, so far so good. I'm curious, actually, if this is your first time watching Citie Skylines. Have you got to say that you made a purchase? I might have mentioned it in a previous episode, but I'm going to say it again. If you are thinking of buying Citie Skylines, do so. It's a fantastic game, but bear in mind, wait for a Steam sale. It sales really cheaply. It's like £5 or £6, and the DLC all sales as well, especially if it's been out for a while. Some of the newer stuff doesn't sell straight away, but after one Steam sale, the next one will come along, and it's worth getting. And I should probably mention at this point as well, this isn't sponsored by Citie Skylines. It's just, again, I said at the start of the series, it's one of my favourite games ever. I absolutely love it. And yeah, I've seen a few comments and a few people have messaged me in the Discord and things like that I've got going on, that they're playing Cities for the first time and they're having an absolute ball with it. People that have played it before, and I think there's lots of people like this that play it, don't really understand it, struggle with it, and never play it again. And I think that happens with a lot of games. And Cities is one of those games that can be a struggle to begin with, can be confusing, can not work as you intend it to work. But then, I mean, I feel like it's so rewarding after that. You get a lot out of it. So, yeah, hopefully you're in that camp rather than the frustrated, I don't know what the hell's going on camp. We're just going to get some more industry down here again. With a high population, we're going to have to increase the workload as well, and we don't want to limit ourselves just to this smaller area. But so far, so good. I mean, I'm actually really pleased with how it's looking now. There was a moment when we first started, I thought I didn't know, because some of these roads didn't quite make sense. Again, shout out to Ellie, who recommended that we have the roads run right directly alongside Central Park. Something that's been annoying me for ages, viewers, and I'm going to have to sort it out now, is the trees down this end don't connect to the road side, and I really want them to. Although I'm not quite sure what roads there are, or trees there. I think it's these, isn't it? Yeah, I think I struck lucky a bit there. You can use a brush tool. I mean, I've gone too big with a brush tool, viewers. That is overboard. And usually it's not being. I mean, the strength's quite high, but it's not really filling it in. This is why sometimes doing it as a single and just sort of blitzing it across in that motion, like you're painting it almost, is slightly better. They've got some like lighter trees in there as well, so I'm going to throw a few lighter trees. Although they're more yellowy, and I've not used yellowy trees. Oh god, I mean, there you are. Look, we'll do some over here as well. Just fire those in there. We'll create a really we can make this. It's interesting. I've not talked about it really with the zones. We've not talked about this much at all. I guess now is as good a time as any to talk about it, as I realise that these people down here have no services whatsoever. And for the first time in a long time, we need to increase our water capacity. So another pump is going to go in next to our already stationed pump. Hopefully the residents don't mind that too much. They need the drinking water, so I'm sure they'll put up with it. And the same applies. You can see there, our water consumption for the first time has gone higher than our pumping capacity. So we want to make sure that these are nice and utilised. So there we go then. Just very quickly, pollution-wise, you can fix these by using floating garbage collectors. That you need to have made a lot more money, and you can see there we need 15,000 people to unlock that. And there's also, if you go back onto the water, there's this as well, which is the water treatment plant. It makes this water look less brown, and eventually what I'll be able to do is remove all of this. But for now, it's like a necessary evil of the series. But we're learning to live with it. I think you can see that these people are suffering, and any second now, everything water-wise will be absolutely fine and is good. Yeah, we were talking about the zones, weren't we? Sorry, let's go back to this. A little tangent there because we had a bit of a crisis going on. So we're unlocked a new building. Fantastic. So paint districts. You can have districts within cities. So of course, we're talking about the Upper East Side. Tribeca down the bottom here towards the World Trade Center. You've got Midtown. You've got, I said, Little Italy. Other districts have completely abandoned my brain right now. Hell's Kitchen is another one towards Midtown. So like we can start to zone those off at some point. So you'd have your Upper East Side there, for example. You'd have your Upper West Side there. You'd maybe have Hell's Kitchen around this area as well. You'd have Midtown, which would hold off sort of like a major tourist area, maybe. Again, you'd have sort of the Tribeca area down this end. So again, Chelsea, of course. So like we can do this with lots of places and name them. Either we name them after the real places, or we don't. Have we got a bit of we've got a situation with electricity, viewers. I'm going to try and keep it clean again. We're going to go for more of these. I just think it looks nicer. How much does that create, though? That could be a problem. Okay, plenty. We've got 20 more megawatts to go right now. It's giving it names, but again, we can change these, and I think we should do at some points. Then we know what we're working with. I'll try and make those at least very accurate to real life. So when you look at it, you know exactly where you are off the bat. I'm pausing because I'm wondering districts. Sorry, we'll get onto that. So you can have park districts as well as industry districts, and again, it's something we'll talk about in the future. Manhattan, I don't think will have any industrial areas. It's where you can have specialized industry in different situations. So you can see some of these. You can have your forest industry, you can have farming, ore industry, oil industry. It's a really great way of making money. And that leads to having some really cool factories as well. So you can have an industrial steel plant. You can have, let's take a look at a few others. A bakery could be included, a furniture factory. You've got a lemonade factory. And all of these factories, I think, will probably go over towards the Hoboken area, as well as a few in Brooklyn and maybe a couple in Queens as well. But again, that's something that feels quite a few episodes away right now. And it's not something I'm going to force upon us at this stage. Population-wise, again, I said we were building up towards 7,000. These houses down here have done a really great job of getting us even closer. And I'm worried, though. Oh, God, I've got to say, I'm worried that we've not quite got enough yet. So I'm going to go a little further up here. We're going to go 40 up. We'll go across 10. It's not letting me do it. Fantastic. And then we can get a little bit more in as well. And things are coming up nicely. So if we go there, these are going to be a big apartment like blocks, I think. But again, we can't quite get there yet. I'm going to have to bend this in as well in some fashion like that, so it makes a bit more sense. There's a conclusion I'm going to have to draw at some point. We need some more industry as well, because the industry is all at one end. Of course, the people that are living up here, this is just logistics really, have got to travel all the way down the bottom to get to work, which is only going to increase the issues. Oh, do you know what I've just remembered, viewers? And I'm going to do it now before I forget, and then we'll end up never doing it. I want to build this roundabout down here in some capacity. So let's think about this, because last time we tried to do it, it wasn't letting me do it very well, was it, as I recall? So we'll do 3 there, 3 there, 3 there, and 3 there. I kind of think we should have done more. Let's have a look. Let's see how this looks. It should be 7s now across, right? Or 9s, is it? That's an 8. Oh, hang on. We're a mess here, viewers, I'll tell you now. We are an absolute mess. So that's 16 across. I didn't mean to do that. Right, well, I've cocked it right up off the bat. Brilliant. I'm saying off the bat again, when I couldn't get it right earlier on. 7. What have I done? Oh, it's because this is longer, isn't it? This is 22. Oh, yeah, of course. Right, okay. Change of plan, then. We're going to have to build it off one of them. I'm going to go for this one here. Get rid of this little road here. Sorry, viewers. I can tell what's happening. You're as confused as I am. But at this point, I feel like I know what's going on. So 7. No, it can't be 7 to 9. It's going to have to be 9 to 9. But it won't let me do it. Oh, my word. The stress of this. Goodness me. Now I've done the wrong road. 6 then? Yeah, 6. Right, we're settling on 6, viewers. There we go, look. 6. And it works. It's fine. It's what we wanted, sort of. But no, it does make sense. There's more logic now to that than there was before. There's also a road that sort of goes off here and bends down into the to the Upper West Side, so we will work on that as well. But that looks a bit nicer. The roundabout, in my opinion, is a little bit too big. And if you're a purist, that will annoy you a little bit. It's annoying me, believe me. But look, it's fine. I actually think it's quite nice to have it a little bit bigger. Again, talking of logistics. Services down here, they're not happy. They need some stuff. Fire department can go down the bottom there. Police department can go down the other side. And yeah, we're going to need to put a doctor's in down here at some point. I guess there's the place to do it. So again, they're loving it. The houses are starting to improve. The happiness rating is through the roof. And everything else is working quite nicely. Again, our traffic flow is really good. The more you build, the more cars that come in, But yeah, it seems to be operating really nicely. There seems to be a nice divide between the industry and everything else. So it does work out really, really nicely for us. It's not as big an issue as I thought it would be. I thought we would have a congestion by now. As we get closer towards 7,000, I'm sure that'll happen. And we need to build some industry somewhere. Where are we going to put it? Do we just like pack out this whole area and then change it to offices later on? I guess we have to. I guess that's the only solution to the problem currently, because there's a big demand for it, so we're going to have to sort of fulfill that demand, aren't we? Otherwise, we're just going to be going around in circles. But yeah, we'll end this episode when we get to 7,000. So again, we're going to focus a little bit today on just population building and making sure we get what we need to. Of course, our electricity is going to get close as well if we're not careful. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. Some of the electricity things vary. If the coal power plants are lacking coal, then for a short period of time you will lose your electricity and it will confuse you. You'll think, well, what's going on? But it will just simply be that they'll have forgotten to deliver coal, or it's just a little bit late, or things like that. 26% full on that landfill site. This one is at 67%, and of course that one's already at 100, taking up valuable space now. But it's an evil necessary at the beginning. You can use incineration plants at some point. You can see here like an advanced incineration plant, a recycle centre, and considering we are recycling, maybe we should pop one of those in somewhere. If there's a natural place to put it, there isn't really currently. I guess the actual place would be there, but I'd have to take away some industry, and we need that at the moment, so I can't really do it. We can actually build behind the back of this. I'm going to build out a little more. We're going to build a road that goes there. And then there. Yeah, because there's space there that I'm not utilising, and I think we should absolutely utilise it. It allows us to build a little bit more industry again, as we need it. Because we've talked about that enough now, haven't we? It's a necessary evil to build it all out. They could do with a fire department down here as well. The services at this end are not particularly good. We should probably look to improve that. I'm going to put it in there, just because I think production-wise they'll be a lot happier to see that so close. Again, the police department, maybe the same theme. We're going to have to pop it in somewhere. Does it fit there? Does it fit there? That just right there? Yeah, that's probably the best place for it, because it loops around. Yeah, that works, I guess. They'll be happy about it at the very least. Maybe do I put a medical centre in near that industrial area, or do I pop in a doctor's office? Because I quite like the doctor's office one. We will put a doctor's office in. I'm not sure where, though. There, maybe? It's quite close to the roundabout, isn't it? Is it necessary? That's the question. I'm going to leave it, viewers. They need schooling down this side. The library. They're annoyed they don't have a library down this end. Do we pop a library in? I've got two different libraries. I've got this one here, a public library, that we could slice in. Maybe here for now. Again, not completely realistic to real life, but sure, pop a library in there. There's something called the High Line, which is a pathway, it's an old rail line that they turned into a pathway that I kind of would like to try and rebuild at some point. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do it today. Did I say I was going to leave some of these not built out for a reason? I think I did, and then today I came along and filled it in. There we go. I'm going to build some big skyscrapery things around there somewhere at some point. Times Square as well. We're going to have to build a road that goes across here in some capacity. So we'll work on that at some point as well. Maybe it'll connect from that road all the way up and through. So if it'll let me, something like that, kind of. See what I mean? Now, of course, we'll have to remove a lot of roads to make that happen, which I don't really want to do. But we could find some way to connect them all, and it should look okay. As these houses are losing power, it's all kicking off here. Wow, our power consumption went up massively. We built a lot more industry. And all of a sudden, there was a huge demand for more power. Do I want to put, because we've got this, I could put some of these in, which are what they called advanced wind turbines that sit in the water, create quite a lot of power. So I'm just going to put a couple of those in near where our water is pumping. It doesn't affect it, but it does create a lot more power for us. So, yeah, lovely. Are we at this 7,000 yet? 300 away. Today will be a longer episode then, because we're building towards this. I'm not stopping until it's done. We can't really go any further. Do I have another square I can build out? Not yet. And we're not really making use of this square. We, of course, needed it so that we could build underneath and sort Manhattan out. But maybe at some point we do need to start building out this area, which I've curiously now noticed is very much, it's quite rocky, isn't it? That's going to be quite tough to build on. Quite interesting to build on, but quite tough to build on at the same time. And I'm really looking forward as well to building out Brooklyn. I think that will really help with population and things like this. So at some point I'm looking forward to building down there, and again working on the touristy sort of area of Coney Island down this side, as I pressed the wrong thing. But I've not really explored or shown you down here yet, but you can see that the way that we can work some of this in, and we've not really done it yet, like of course where the Statue of Liberty is as well, not really touched upon that, Ellis Island. So again, there's loads that we can do that we're yet to do, and it should be really exciting. Are we at 7,000 yet? No, we're losing people. I think people are dying. That's part of the problem. We're going to have to go big. Again, the industry is becoming a major issue for us right now. We need to create more industry, but we're running out of places to do it because I don't want to put it too close to where people are living. I'm going to have to make some bold steps here, I think. We're going to have to build more housing all the way along here. I don't think I've really got much choice. It's going to have to be housing all the way along there. And again, we can now delete a few of these and just pop in some shops here and there. The problem is we don't have a demand for housing at the moment because we don't have enough people. We don't have enough jobs available for the people to take. So we're going to have to put industry in somewhere. And this is the tricky thing now. I'm going to have to decide where to put it. Do I stick it slap bang in the middle because I know I'm going to change it to offices at some point? I think I am. I think that's the solution. I'm just going to put it there. Because what's going to happen is, it's going to be industry for now, but what's going to happen eventually is once we get the offices unlocked, I can change them to offices, and it'll look a lot more in keeping with what we want it to be there. Hopefully this is going to connect up in some fashion. It's a bit too far away. So again, temporary line of electricity. Yeah, hopefully. And we should see now an increase in demand for residential areas. We're already seeing a few commercial buildings being built up, but we want to see those houses building as well. I could leave this in the hope that it'll grow out in the next 2 minutes and hopefully work. You can see we're getting ever closer now. We've built a lot of industry, so all of a sudden this demand for jobs is going to increase as we get towards 7,000. Is it 7,000 on the nose? I think it is. 7,000 on the nose, is it? We're on the wrong thing, Ben. It's milestones, you fool. There we are. 7,000. It is. Well, I'm going to wait for it to happen. 280,000 in the bank. Remember we took out a loan earlier on. We'll just quickly pay that back because we can afford to. Don't have to pay the interest on it then either. As we're ever closer to 7,000. Come on. We want it. Tell me congratulations. I think it says congratulations. Does it say congratulations? We'll find out. Of course, as we draw to a close this episode, get your questions in the comment section and I will answer them in some upcoming episodes. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, as we are so close. Come on, 25 people away. We're so close. 15. Oh, it keeps dipping up and down now. Please get me to 7,000. We all want it. We want it to see it happen. Please, look at it. It's just toying with me now. This is the thing with cities. There it is, 7,004. We get another square to our name. Campus areas have been activated, so a university can be built on a massive scale. That's something we'll address at a later date as well. The IT cluster, they can make some really cool office buildings, but this is the big one, viewers. We now have some high-density residential zones, commercial zones, and office zones, and that is that's going to make Manhattan look like Manhattan. And I, for one, am very excited. And do you know what I'm going to do? This is a really horrible thing to do because we've just built them as a way to grow, but just for the purposes of making it look cool, I'm going to do this just so you can see what this is going to be a little treat for us all at the end here. As I'm going to just build out Midtown a little bit, you see. And then I'm going to make these specialised in IT because the building structure and the way it'll look, they'll disappear briefly, but then they'll be like, we need to build some more. And look at these. Look what we're getting now. Some nice big high-rise buildings are being built. And when you compare them to the height of what we've already got here, look, they are monstrous. But that's what you want. That's the look of Manhattan we're looking for. And yeah, we're getting ever closer. And we can do it with housing as well now along some of these sides. I'm looking forward to it. Right, that's going to bring us to the end though. Again, if you've enjoyed it, do drop a like on it. Want to see some more, make sure you're subscribed. And I'll join you again as we continue to make Manhattan and New York look like New York. This was fun. See you soon. Goodbye. Longer episode as well. You've been calling for this.